Well, hello there, and welcome back again, my friends, to another crazy, zany episode of The Lawn Care Nut. Today, the main purpose is to kill and prevent Kyllinga that's been invading my St. Augustine lawn here. But wait, while I'm killing the Kyllinga, otherwise known as Nutsedge, you'll be able to learn how to spray a lawn using a push sprayer, or a backpack sprayer, or even a pump sprayer, because I try to please everyone in these videos. And for those of you that are here just for the tips, I'll put helpful marks in the description below, where you can skip to the content that best suits you. Again, just the tip. So with that, let's stop stalling and let's get right out into the lawn. Lawn Care Nut, take it away, buddy.
See him right there? He didn't want to hang around.
What's up, y'all? I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for coming back for yet another week. So if you guys follow along, either here or on Snapchat, you will have seen that I have got a Kyllinga problem.
Alright, I'm going to take this video for documentation. I was telling y'all that I thought I had like a ton of Bermuda throughout this lawn, which I do. So let's just confirm that. This is St. Augustine right here, and this is definitely Bermuda right here. So that's a mix that I have going on over here. So I was spraying with some Blindside. That's what these brown spots are here that you see. I was spraying with some Blindside, just seeing, I was kind of throwing in some surfactant and stuff, seeing if I could mess with the Bermuda. And it looks like I got control, right? And I got another spot on the other side that I'll show you too, that I put on what I thought was Bermuda. So now, as we come around here, I don't know if this wind is going to affect this or not. You can probably see it. There's a section right there that's kind of brownish. That's where I also sprayed Blindside with heavy surfactant. And it's been cut now, but before I cut it, yeah, you can kind of see it. Before I cut it, it was really evident that it was brown. I'm like, maybe I'm getting some Bermuda control. But there was one other thing I'm dealing with. All back through here. I'll talk about that in a second. But back here, and what I noticed back here was actually an infestation of nutsedge, like major. I think I might have mentioned it in the video when I first moved in. It's all brown now from Blindside, but this brown yellow stuff is actually nutsedge. Not that, that's grass. This here. That. Right there. That's nutsedge. This is another area right here. I just did a little test spray, and all that's nutsedge that's dead. Here, let's go right to the edge and see what we can see. So this is, see this? This is nutsedge coming in here. These little thin ones, I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Look at these little guys right here. Okay, so we're we're one day later from the last video I just took, and I'm out here doing some hand watering. Check it out, it's really prominent now. You can see this nutsedge coming in, see it? I just cut yesterday, but look at that, that's all nutsedge. Look at this, thick. It's like pushing its way right through. It just doesn't give a care in the world. It just pushes up right through. It's like, screw you, St. Augustine, I'm coming in, right? And then you have some follower weeds here too, you know, making their way in at the same time. It's like this crowdsourcing of destruction I got going on here. But dang, the color is good though, ain't it?
Kyllinga is kind of like a nutsedge, and it's something that if I don't address in my St. Augustine lawn, it's definitely going to cause me some massive problems. So the course of action that we're going to take is going to involve two different applications, one pre-emergent and one post-emergent. Okay guys, let's talk quickly about the products that I chose. Now for pre-emergent, I went with Pennant Magnum, which has active ingredient metallochlor. Now a lot of people will ask, Alan, you've already got a problem. Why are you putting down a pre-emergent? And the answer is because if I've got a problem existing, that means I'm gonna have a problem ongoing. Even though I'm gonna kill what's there now, I need something that's gonna give me some residual that's gonna prevent a future outbreak. And so that's why I'm also putting down a pre-emergent now. Is it too late? Yeah, it's too late to get what's already here, but it's not too late to get what might be to come. Never forget that. I got some advice from my friend Caleb over at ex-TruGreen. I'll link in the description below to his company, but he said that Pennant Magnum would be the best for me because it's also going to prevent a lot of other problems like crabgrass, doveweed, Pennant Magnum is definitely not a cheap product. I'll link in the description below where you can pick some up, and if it fits in your budget, I do understand that it is the gold standard for warm season grass pre-emergence, especially when Kyllinga or Nutsedge are a concern. For my post-emergent control, in other words, going after killing the Kyllinga that's already come up, I chose Dismiss herbicide. Dismiss uses active ingredient sulfentrazone, which is the same active ingredient that's found in Blindside. The difference being, Dismiss does not include the methylfuran methyl, or the MSM, which I believe adds extra stress to the turf, but does not help with the Kyllinga. So that's why I chose Dismiss. So if I really wanted to, I could take this MSM, methylfuran methyl, and I could mix it with the Dismiss, and I would have something very, very similar to Blindside. You do not use a surfactant with this, and you do have a 90-degree heat restriction. In fact, on the day that I sprayed, it got up to 94. That was a no-no, but I had no other choice because I was going out of town there soon after. As you'll see in my final results, I did get some dieback, but nothing that caused any long-term damage. Some of you might be asking why I chose Dismiss over Sedgehammer, and really the main reason is speed. Sedgehammer takes several days to start showing results, whereas the Dismiss shows results within 24 hours, and that was my experience. However, Sedgehammer is much easier on St. Augustine, so if you have a concern about dieback in your St. Augustine, or your St. Augustine is not super vigorous, then Sedgehammer is going to be a better choice for you for post-emergent herbicide. One of the reasons I chose Dismiss or sulfentrazone is because this is a great weed killer in general. It goes after a lot more than just the Kyllinga or Nutsedge. So I'll be able to use this in other situations throughout the year, and that's part of why you choose a weed control. You try not to choose a one-use product. Try to choose something that, as long as it's affordable, can be used in multiple ways and in multiple applications against multiple pest invaders. Okay, I just thought about something while I'm setting up here. We need to talk about, can we tank mix these products and how are we going to apply them? So I checked with my friend Caleb, who is the owner of TruGreen. I'll link to them in the description below. I called Caleb recently to ask him about this problem. I kind of use him as like my expert technical advisor. And he did say that I could tank mix these two products. So essentially I could do one single pass with both products in the tank and they will do just fine. And that's called tank mixing, and it's very common that people would mix a pre-emergent and post-emergent herbicide together to do one single blanket app, especially for a problem like this that exists across the entire lawn. So that being said, I am not gonna do that, and I'm gonna tell you why. It's because when I do a blanket spray of a post-emergent herbicide, especially like sulfentrazone here, that can harm the St. Augustine, I wanna see it. I wanna control it. I wanna have 100% control, and I can only do that with a hand can or a hand sprayer. However, doing a blanket app, a hand can is just not gonna cut it. You really need to get a step higher, and that's where I went ahead and purchased a backpack sprayer. So this is what I'm gonna be using. I don't know this company, I've never talked to them. They're not a sponsor. I actually purchased this myself on Amazon. But this is what we want. This is a backpack sprayer. The idea is that when you air this up, it's gonna keep pressure more consistent across the application, and you can pump while you spray very easily by the way it's set up. And that's what we need, because we need to keep a consistent pressure, and we can actually measure it on this unit. Another reason I purchased this, because it does come with a pressure gauge, so I can make sure to keep this consistently at the right pressure. So what this is a constant flow valve, and basically what it does is it makes your application more consistent. That way when you're airing up and down, airing up and down, airing up and down, this keeps the flow from the end here at the fan tip consistent and constant. So that way it's not affected by what's going on back there. And that's exactly what we want when we're doing a blanket application like this. The more consistent, the better. Now trust me, my S25 Spray Pro puts out a beautiful stream and does a great job. But again, I just want to have everything in my hands when I spray that post-emergent herbicide. Now the pre-emergent though, different story. So for the pre-emergent, because I have a little bit more fudge factor, it's not really going to harm the lawn or anything. I want to go for ease of use and again for consistency, so I'm going to use the S25 Spray Pro. Now that's not a tool that most of you have. I'll link in the description below where you can get all of these products here, but that's not one that most of you have, and most of you probably should not invest in one. And I will tell you that it is a very difficult tool to use. It's very hard to push, especially when it's full of liquid. It's very heavy. It will kick your ass. But one thing's for sure though, that ass kicking will be worth it, because this T-Jet nozzle puts out a beautiful spray pattern. What I kind of like about it is there's like this work reward thing. The harder you work, the lighter the load gets because the water's coming out. so then it's easier to push. So it motivates you to keep going because you know it's getting lighter and easier. That's pretty crazy. So that like to kill me, and I'm in pretty good shape, I'm gonna be honest with you. This puppy was hard to push through my fescue up north. It is, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. What is that movie where he's Okay, now let's talk about application techniques. So if you're going to use the S25 Spray Pro, you're going to want to do an edge pass first. Use a hand can for that, stand outside of the lawn, and throw in to 2 feet. We do this just to get things nice and easy and wet around the edges and keep it off the sidewalks. Then bring the S25 in and throw right up to the edge without getting the sidewalk wet. And then every successive pass going back and forth, throw back to the wheel marks of the previous pass. You'll notice that this is very similar to how we do a granular application. The S25 Spray Pro has about a 4-foot swath, which means you've got a couple feet on each side. I didn't use marking blue here because this is our first application with Pre-Emergent. I'm going to use the marking blue coming up for the Post-Emergent. I didn't really feel I needed it for the Pre-Emergent because, as I've stated before, it's the Post-Emergent that gives me the most anxiety here. And now the Post-Emergent using the backpack sprayer. Now using the backpack sprayer, you're also going to do a trim pass, and you're going to trim in about 2 feet. Your walking speed is 3 miles per hour, and you want to keep the tip at a consistent height, typically somewhere around your knee level. Because we have the control valve on there, you just have to keep the unit constantly aired up, and the tip will do all the rest. It's kind of like bagpipes. As far as overlap, you want to go almost back to where your foot marks are of each previous pass. The marking blue helps because you can see exactly where you have sprayed and where you haven't. Now if you've missed a spot, be careful. We just don't want to get too heavy-handed. When in doubt, spray light. Domination tip number 1. When you're using weed control and marking blue, make yourself a line. And just to show you that it can be done, I went ahead and used a normal hand can over here on this side of the lawn. It doesn't deliver quite as consistent of an application, so I have to walk a little bit slower and get a little bit more overlap. But again, the idea is to get everything wet and keep that blue consistent. Alright, I had to come in for another trip to the fill station, but I want to just take you guys on a walk. See how crazy things must look to my neighbors, right? I didn't have cameras running because I get too tired. I mean, I actually have to do work around here, you know, so I didn't have cameras running, but one neighbor came by and she said, I guess that's one way to get your lawn green, isn't it? And I said, yeah, I got to dominate somehow. I don't think she got it. I wish I'd had that on camera. So, but everybody's staring because I'm literally painting my lawn blue. Check it out. I upped the blue just a little bit for my hand applications here. Check this out. That's marking blue. And so you can see they've been watching me do it. You can see the difference where it's not at. So people are seeing it for sure. But I'd say I got a pretty good application. A couple spots could have done better, but we're good. We're good overall. Okay, so I'm all done. I am really tired. Seriously, that's a heck of a workout. So we have just a little bit of a dilemma here, and that is that the Pre-Emergent needs to be watered in, but the Post-Emergent should sit for a couple days, ideally. But this is a 24-hour acting Post-Emergence control, which is why I chose it. So I'm going to let it sit for 24 hours and then water it in. I did read the label on the Pre-Emergent, and that's fine. That's definitely within the window of watering it in time. The reason you do want to water it in, though, is because these things will degrade in the sun. So either way, we're gonna wait 24 hours, and then tomorrow evening I'm gonna water everything in, and then we're gonna see what we get. What's up, y'all? I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for coming back for yet some tree trimming going on over there. Look at that. Anyway, so today we are going to check the results of my nutsedge treatment that I did. So now you're gonna see the lawn is super overgrown. It's been 9 days since I mowed it. I've actually been out of town, so let me tell you how it went. 9 days ago on a Wednesday, I mowed the lawn, then I sprayed on a Saturday, and then I went out of town on Monday, and I just got back late last night. So this is actually the first time I'm even seeing the lawn since I treated it. So it's super overgrown, and also from just looking at it from now, it looks like my treatment did a really good job. So we'll go check that out. Also, it's really interesting, last weekend it got unseasonably warm. We got up into the high 90s, which is not good for the weed control that I was spraying, but had to do it anyway. And now it's unseasonably cool. I mean, down in the 70s, it's just beautiful here. So very interesting. The other thing is we got a lot of rain while I was gone. We got 3 days of really hard rain, and I'm gonna tell you that nothing replaces a good rain when it comes to the health of your lawn, especially when you've sprayed a weed control on it that can be a little harsh on the lawn. Because remember, just because a weed control is labeled that, hey, it's okay for your grass type, it doesn't mean it doesn't still stress it out. It definitely does. So getting these cooler temperatures and a lot of rain really helped my treatment to work and also helped my grass to be more resilient. Let's take a look at where we ended up. So this is really interesting in here. You can see that we did get some damage on the St. Augustine. See that? That is definite damage right there. And this is what I was telling you, this is what sulfentrazone will do. But we're fine because we're so overgrown. By the time I cut this down, it's gonna be way down here, and it's all green down through there, no injury. So we're gonna be coming in here. I mean, again, it's a trade-off. Truthfully, it's not good to cut the lawn when it's this tall. I'm gonna cut it down as tall as I can. It's gonna cause it a little bit of, I don't know, it's not gonna be good for it to cut it down right now when it's this overgrown, but I don't have a choice, right? I have to cut it down anyway. And because the temperatures are cooler, I'm good with that. So it's gonna be just fine. So here's evidence of the nutsedge that's all dead. See that? That's all the nutsedge getting whacked. Right there, that's what that is. Now let's take a look at the parkway. This parkway right here, see how brown that is? That's because that's all nutsedge. This puppy was coated with nutsedge. Look at it. It's probably gonna need another app.